offspring of us. So if I'm angry, if I'm pissed off all the time, if I'm sad, even if in a moment of love, me and my wife conceive a child, but if all of the negative energy is still with me, the child is still conceived in negativity because that the body, I mean, it does definitely know the difference in vibration between when you express love and you express anything on the other ill or low vibrational feeling or emotion, definitely. But in the moment of conception, it's no telling. The sperm does not know the difference of what it was released under. And then maybe it will. I don't know. I haven't got that deep into
it. Might be because it's a conscious being and it has an electromagnetic field, which is a mind. So
absolutely.
anything with a mind can discern.
It makes sense. No, 100 right and exact. Good facts. But yeah, going back to the science of eating, science of food. I think a lot of the big problem with us as melanated beings, African beings, here in America, is that we think we only relate food to physical health.
Mm-hmm.
We don't relate food to mental health. We don't relate food to spiritual health. We don't relate food to mental health. Therefore, we don't relate food to
social health,
social well-being,
economics,
economic stability. We don't relate health to none of that. So we wonder why we have bad days at work. But I'm saying the affirmations. I'm getting up. I feel good. I'm not mean. I'm a nice person. But what you eating? And even deeper than that, the karma. When you eating these dead animals, you taking on all of the energy that went into slaughtering them, torturing them, and even deeper than that, if you're eating dead animals, I often make this comparison with parents who lose their children to violence, who are at a point, who I worked with for a few years, who are at a point of understanding when they can understand the karmic reaction of eating a dead animal and that your son or daughter was killed. You promote violence, torture, slaughter by eating dead animals. And so I would say, and again, me, is my own experience. More than 50 of my friends have been killed, right? People, family, have been killed. But I know that we created that.
Right.
If I can create my greatness and by saying I'm great and affirming, then we also create everything that happened to us that we do not like. We create it, and again, it's difficult. But that's why I'm thankful to say this on camera because I'm not addressing it to just one person because it's difficult. You know, you was with me earlier with the mother. It's difficult bringing up certain conversations when the parent lost their child. But we got to get, if we want to solve the problem, and I just want to solve the problem, man. That's all I want to do is solve the problem. And the truth is what should set us free. And the truth is that even if we don't ever kill an animal, ever step on a roach, if we eat animals that were once living, that were slaughtered, and not for sacrifice, that this is all we have, there's no fruits, the trees are dying, this is what we need to survive. Not in that spirit, but in the spirit of sport. We want to kill them just because. We got tons of fruit. Nature is perfect in herself. She provides for her children. If there's 20 billion people on Earth, nature will provide for 20 billion children because she would not create that which she cannot provide for.
Right.
She would abort it. I cannot support this, I'm aborting. And I don't want to have an abortion, but I'm going to consult with my family, my other.
You're the same volcanoes and earthquakes. You're the same all type of, so what they call natural disasters.
Which is just an expression of the earth, of nature.
What makes rain, hail, snow, and earthquakes?
Talk about it, brother. Right? Yeah. And so when we get into the science of food, there's so much karma that comes with this thing, man. There's so much intelligence if you do it right, if you learn. But again, that comes with education. And I always suggest about patience, being patient and compassionate, because one thing you mentioned, Lord, is we eat geography, where we're at in North America. And then, again, through generations coming out of slavery that time. And I don't even like talking, we got to talk about it as a part of our history, but it's been talked about so much as if it's the biggest part, but it's the smallest part. The very smallest part. Even if you say 600 years, come on, we got hundreds of thousands in this farm ruling. And then we got millions. And
how old is the Moorish flag?
I don't know. Tell me.
It's over 50,000 years old.
I didn't know that. Thank you. So,
America is like 240.
1,000?
240.
Oh, 240 years. Oh, yeah, it's baby. Right? And when we understand these truths, I forgot what the point I was making there, but going back to the science of food, is so much is aura, right? When we eat, we become. So energy is real. Not only the energy that's inside me, that's giving me this breath to speak, to breathe life, but the energy that I don't see, that's there, that when we get to a certain state, we can manipulate. You know what I mean? And we feel it. So if it's real to feel, it's real to see. Certain people, he who has eyes to see, let him see. If you're in tune, then you can see aura on someone else. And so you have a certain vibration through what you put in your body, creating a certain aura, a certain force field, right? Or it should be, because we're supposed to be protected, because we are one with nature, therefore we are one with the elements, which is why when people often ask me, is it cold outside? I say, I don't know. The temperature is low, they said. I see people, smoke coming out people's mouths, but am I cold? No, because I've gotten to a place where I'm one with the elements.
See now, when you say, when you said earlier about, if you would, when you were saying earlier about, because I remember the point you were making, you were attributing what it is that you eat to, when you're consuming death. You know what I'm saying? That's what's going, that's what you want to attract. Mm-hmm. And so when you're in the neighborhood where, so when you in the neighborhood where you just constantly consuming, refuse and death, and you don't know the origin of that which you consume, you're gonna act out in the manner of, whatever it is that you consume, all the energies that that it interacted with. And these things are also attributed unto you. So like, I never had that many friends, so I don't know what it's like to have that many friends die. But I know in my hood, a lot of people definitely not eating the right foods, and when they're hungry, that the hunger that they have isn't their own hunger. It's not the hunger of the person. But man is not the body nor the soul.
That desire.
But now when you're dealing with the body and what's in the body, that thing's in the body that'll make you think that you want something right now. You want something that bad that you are capable of executing acts that under normal circumstances or whatever would be normal. They would be unfathomable to you. You wouldn't. The last thing on your mind would be to commit acts of that nature. Mm-hmm. But when you eat outside of your own nature, you begin to act outside of your own nature, and therefore, become unnatural to you and your environment. And as a desirable, because that's what things that are natural to the environment are. They're undesirable. You get treated as such. Mm-hmm. And they're subject to the abuses of those things that desire to be the opposite of you, which is destructive or, devaluing in a sense of yourself or your circumference, your vicinity. Mm-hmm.
So right, exactly. And building on that, right, natural people. We're natural people. I like to call myself and my ancestors children of the sun. Right, I like that. I like to say that we come from the sun. We are one with the sun and not different, just in different form. So in that, we reverence everything. And so, again, in my reflection, in my meditation, thinking about, how did my oldest ancestors eat, right? Right? How did my oldest ancestors eat, right? And how did they, when they traveled, when they came across animals, how did they feel? And okay, me knowing we're children of the sun, knowing that also all of creation is a child of the sun.
Right.
So, again, this is a vision that I created. When we came across these, I forgot what some of the hippos or whatever the animals were at that time. I would say we reverenced them, came across them, like was in awe of them, like at their size and their strength and their, some of them were so calm, like the elephant, African elephant, the biggest, strongest animal is a vegetarian. It's humble and it's calm and it doesn't make a lot of noise and it doesn't move fast. I would say we reverence those animals, and the lion even, we reverenced it for its power and its drive to protect, right? And so as natural people, we reverence that. So I would say at no point did we kill an animal. Some people would say, of course they were on the continent, very big. Some people say, well, people over here kill animals. And I would say that was only after we left our original place.
That's right.
And traveled. And then as we learned things and the weather started to change and we didn't have the same wild growing like that, right? And through a few generations of not recognizing the wild, not being able, like right now, I walk the garden space we just walked past. When my boy came over, he's a plant man master for 20 years. He was telling me, you could eat this, you could eat that. And me, I'm like, whoa, like we lost that identification to be able to naturally identify.
Knowledge yourself.
Absolutely. And so, like you were saying, as natural people, so perfect. You said it perfectly. If we're eating unnatural foods, then how can we be natural people still?
Right.
In our essence, absolutely. But we become unnatural, and if we become unnatural through our diet, if what goes in must come out, it's gonna come out some way. Not only in excrement, but it's gonna come out in expression, in experience. And we create experiences that are filled with the spirit of that which we ate, which in most times is death.
And thought is the cause of it all.
Absolutely.
It's coming from, your thought process and your mind and your brain are two different things. But as much control as you're gonna have over your brain is as receptive as you allow it to be to your own mind. And so you're controlling that with your actions.
Right, exactly.
And when you see these foods, you should think to yourself, well, can it conduct electricity, or how well I conducting electricity is it? Like, I know that the bread that I just ate probably wouldn't conduct electricity well. You know what I'm saying? The strawberry probably would be the weakest conductor of electricity of the